Hi there, how are you? Thank you for joining me today. I am doing a video today about maintaining a keto diet while we're locked down or shelter in place at home. So in the northeast of the US, many states have begun this strict shelter in place where the government advised us to in the next 2 weeks to limit not just going out but not even doing much food shopping, to really limit grocery shopping as well. So if you are eating a keto diet to lose weight, I think it is okay to, be a little bit loose with your diet, with your ketogenic diet during this time. But if you're like someone, if you're someone like me, where I eat a ketogenic diet for health reasons. So for example, if you're eating keto diet for blood sugar control, for inflammation control, for gut illnesses, or some kind of chronic illnesses, you might not have the luxury to be too loose on your keto diet. So I'm not an expert, but I just want to share with you how I prepared my pantry for a lockdown situation like this. So the way I want to introduce you are 6 categories. These are some of the category of food that I would stock up, and some are just, other ideas. So the first group category of food are the dry food. The second one are great food to stock up on frozen food and freezable food. Then I want to talk about the obvious things like canned food, but also bringing in fermented food in this category, so things in cans and jars. Then we're going to touch upon fresh food. Then I also will touch upon dairy food, and then lastly I want to touch just a little bit about ordering out and takeout food. In ketogenic diet, we don't really go out to buy wheat flour products, but as you all know, we have our alternatives. If you like a low carb keto diet, you're likely to have some almond flour, coconut flour, psyllium husk powder, and different baking necessities to help you make keto versions of your crackers and noodles and bread. Things like nut butters, chocolates, to me is a must, dark chocolate, and other things that we can either snack on or make for real food are things like seaweed is really good for storing. These are dry food, they're good to sit around. This is sea kelp. So for Asian people, we eat a lot of sea kelp. Sea kelp is rich in iodine, and you can buy these in any Asian store. They're just kind of like dried round discs of sea kelp. These are good in the soups. I wish I have some nori sheets at hand, but I don't have nori sheets. But basically they're like sushi wrappers, so those are really good for if you want a low carb wrap. You can wrap salad, wrap meats, wrap many things in those nori sheets. Another set of great item for dry food are more like maybe snack things. But here I have, nuts. I have some walnuts and pecans. Seeds are a really good option. And I also have some protein powder at hand. These are unflavored isopure protein powder.
Protein powder is not the greatest for keto diet because as this powder has no fat, it's just protein. But it does serve a purpose, and I actually make a zero carb bread using this protein powder, and that's basically all I do with protein powder is I use it to make zero carb bread. But really, I think the most essential are the almond flour, coconut flour, and your other baking essentials. Now I want to show you guys some frozen food category or freezable category. So obviously we know that on a ketogenic diet we consume a good amount of fatty meats. So that's really good to stock up on. And I would say that for your meats, try to buy them in large chunks that you can later on cut up for different uses. Pork butt, and it's a bone-in pork butt. So these are great because pork butts are fatty and full of like different tendons, so they're very rich in fats and collagen. But also when you buy the bone-in version, you can cut off the meats yourself, and the bone is really great because on a keto diet we eat lots of bone broth, so you can use that bone for bone broth as well. So speaking of bone broth, I tend to like make a large batch in my Instant Pot, and then I store them in my mason jar and I freeze them. So the amount that I make at a time, I can make about 4 to 5 jars of these 32-ounce maize. So I have these are from Butcher Box. The chuck is another one that's full of fat and tendon. It's really good for a keto diet. We never forget about bacon. So with bacon, it's a freezable item. Usually you find it in the refrigerated section, but you can always just buy more and then like freeze them. Ground beef is another great source of fatty meat. Some keto people would eat organ meats. I don't know if you guys like organ meats, but they are absolutely amazing, and I really consider them essential for a healthy diet. So livers are known to be like nature's vitamin, basically. If you are eating Centrum and stuff like that, you might want to just give liver a try. So I have calf liver. These are like baby cow livers. You can just buy beef liver as well. I prefer the calf liver because they taste better. It's almost sweet and really tender. I also have a whole bunch organ meats here that I got from Chinese supermarket. If you follow Amy Burger or Dr. Westman, you don't have to have food quality to be on keto. But of course, if you can afford quality, that's great. But if you can't, these are still really very, very keto, totally keto, and very, very healthy for you. So here I have some chicken gizzard that I got from Chinese supermarkets. I have some chicken liver here. And I also got some tripe, beef tripe. They're part of cow stomach. So I definitely encourage you that during crisis like this, if you can afford it, and these are not very expensive, I definitely encourage you to go for nutrition rather than just fillers. Because that's what white flour and processed food is. They're fillers. They make you full, but they provide no nutritional value, and it doesn't really do you any good. So the real frozen food that you get from supermarket, I'm not talking about the processed dinner, those lean cuisine stuff. I'm more talking about like frozen vegetables, frozen fruits, I have some frozen blueberry and strawberries in my freezer as well. Here are some frozen vegetables that you can get. Chopped spinach taste really, really good. And all these frozen vegetables, the good thing about them, frozen fruits and vegetables, the good thing about them is that they're picked at ripe, and frozen very immediately, so the nutritional value is very high. For Chinese keto, there are actually lots and lots of frozen Chinese vegetables. There are this one is like a Chinese, it's not really leek, they just don't know what to call it. It's more like a mustard. So lots and lots. They have frozen Chinese mustard, frozen bamboo shoots, frozen lots of things. I say just buy these frozen vegetables. The good thing about frozen vegetable too is that they're once they're thawed, they're wilted already. So it's very easy to make into soup or stir fry. Actually cuts down on your cooking time. Now I want to touch upon this amazing category of canned food. I know oftentimes canned food sound really awful. It sounds unfresh, doesn't sound very pleasing. But canned food is actually very amazing. In this category, I also include fermented food. But canned food are also another item that is often, caught fresh, wild caught or fresh, and then they just can it right away during peak or right after it's processed, right after it's caught. So they are actually very good in preserving their nutrition. Say in general, fermented food is really good. They last forever. So here I have a big jar of kimchi. So kimchi and things like sauerkraut or naturally fermented pickles. So these are fermented food. They last forever, way longer than 2 weeks or even beyond a month. They can last for a few months really. If you go to American supermarket, the most common and keto friendly canned food you're going to find are the canned fish and chicken. So here I have some, this actually bought a whole dozen of these seasoned sardine. They're really high quality, wild caught, and buying at Costco is like a third of the price than regular supermarket. They're full of omega-3. Yeah, 1700 milligrams of omega-3. Say like you don't have enough food, but you want to get in enough nutrition. These canned food is one way to get in your high quality nutrition, and they're so inexpensive. So I got this from Walmart. These are tuna chunk light. It's important to check your can. When you buy your canned food, you want to look at the ingredient list. I don't know if mine is ever gonna focus. This thing, it does not focus well. Okay, so there you go. So I got light tuna, water, and this has got some vegetable broth. I don't know if that's necessary, but oftentimes you want to get as little ingredient as possible. If it can just be tuna and water, that would be great. And then another thing that's readily available in American supermarkets are canned chicken breasts. These are really good. You can just use 1 can of this. You can make chicken salad. You can make chicken crust pizza on Keto Connect. This is my recent find. I never knew you can actually buy wild caught Alaska pink salmon. This is amazing because a lot of times, even buying fresh salmon, I can only afford the ones that are farm raised. So the fact that these canned salmon are wild caught I think it's really worth it. And from Walmart, this only costs like less than $3 a can. Here I have some diced tomato for veggie, and then I'm gonna come over to these Asian cans. So you can buy these from Asian supermarket. They usually have like a whole aisle of canned food as well. This is bamboo shoots. I love bamboo shoots. They are very low carb, very high fiber, and they add a nice crunch to your dishes. So this one, the ingredients, again, you want to pay attention to that. It's just bamboo shoots and water. So that's it's a very keto friendly vegetable. And then as keto people, if you're on a keto diet, you probably have a good amount of like coconut flour, coconut milk, coconut products, because coconut is high with medium chain triglyceride, aka MCT oil. So this one I got from, I like this brand. This brand, they have what I find the least ingredient of all. It's just coconut and water. Another amazing thing that you can buy in the Asian grocery can section are these what do you call these? Quail eggs. Yeah, so you can buy quail eggs in a fresh egg section, but those quail eggs, they don't last that well. These quail eggs are cooked already, and it's nothing but quail egg in water. So quail eggs are really high in healthy cholesterol. I love mushroom. I don't know about you. Any kind of mushroom I love. So you can buy fresh mushrooms, but you can also buy dry mushroom. I don't have any dry mushroom on hand to show you in the dry food section, but usually I have some different types of dry mushroom or dry fungus on hand. This one is a canned mushroom. These straw mushrooms, I cannot find them anywhere fresh. I can only find them canned. But they have a really unique flavor. And again, the ingredient is minimal. The ingredient is only straw mushroom and water. That's it. Then last can example here. I mean, I cannot buy all the cans in a grocery store, but definitely check your ingredient. And if you have already been on a keto diet, you can probably tell what what can item is good for keto diet. Now this one, beans are not good keto products. They're so full of carbs and starch, but they are nonetheless very healthy. They're full of minerals and proteins. So I bought some just in case. Push come to shove, if I got nothing else to eat, I will eat some beans. But beans really make my gut very sad. Really bloat me like tremendously. But we usually keep some in the house because my husband eats it. Again, in a serious emergency situation, if I have nothing to eat, I'd rather eat beans than eating wheat flour, pasta, and crackers. Duck eggs are again very high in vitamin K2 and also very high in cholesterol, healthy cholesterol. Really, really good for you. Another thing is another type of preserved duck egg. This is salted duck egg. This is nothing but salt and egg. So, on a keto diet, any eggs are good eggs. So lots of eggs, preserved eggs, and later on I'll also show you lots of fresh eggs up. It's really cool. This is liver spread. So it's like pate basically, and it's product of New Zealand. And this is actually made of high quality beef liver. So
Yeah, don't be afraid to check out ethnic stores. Oftentimes they actually sell like really cool products that you don't find in American supermarket. Now I want to get to fresh food. I don't have too many as an example here, but I'll just talk about different things as I go. So for me, as a Chinese person on keto, I do eat tofu. Tofu doesn't have a very high carb count, so it's not totally like soybean. Soybean itself has a lot of carbs. Like here, in this jar, 3 ounces of tofu has, this is the soft tofu, has 3 grams of carbohydrate. But 3 ounces of soft tofu is actually a pretty good chunk. And since we don't eat tofu like a piece of steak, like eat it by itself, tofu is always cooked with other ingredients. You're likely eat a very small amount. It's unlikely that you'll eat 3 ounces of tofu in one sitting. Tofu has many different forms. They're sometimes called bean curd because they are just made of soybean into different things. I always keep some pressed tofu on hand because I make tofu rice. I'll link a video about my tofu rice in the link above. Another thing that I usually keep a pack or 2 in my refrigerator is these tofu shirataki spaghettis. I'm sure being on a low carb or keto diet, you're pretty familiar with shirataki noodles. Some people don't like the flavor, but I find that if I in the water, if I just add some salt and lemon juice and boil it for a little bit longer than the instruction, maybe like 3 to 4 minutes, then I personally feel like it tastes just like noodle. The entire package has only 6 grams of carbohydrate, and I don't usually even eat that much. I usually just eat half at a time. I find it very filling. Fresh eggs. So I've just talked about those preserved salted duck eggs and preserved eggs. Those are really great. They last forever. These fresh eggs obviously don't last forever, but they can last a good while, like up to a month, I would say. But you probably want to eat it before it's a month, I try to eat my eggs within 2 weeks. Usually they don't even last that. A good example of vegetable that you can eat fresh for a long time are cabbage. On keto diet, I'm sure many of you are familiar with eating lots of cabbage. Cabbage, not only they're very low in carbs, they are also very tasty. They last a long time in your refrigerator. I bought a giant bag, like a big bag of red bell peppers, and then I just roast them. I roast them and then I add salt and oil, extra virgin olive oil in this jar. And I can just this will last the red bell pepper a lot longer. That's another way to preserve your fresh vegetables. I'll talk about the red bell pepper. I also want to bring up in the fermented food section. Buy some pickled olives. They're really great for a keto diet too. They're high in fat and very healthy for you. So these are just some rough ideas. I'm sure you can come up with others. But I just want to show you that there are so many options to keep your ketogenic diet while you're in lockdown. Talk about
dairy products. I don't know how long fresh milk lasts. I have to say I'm not an expert on dairy. I've been lactose intolerant my whole life. But since going keto, I've learned to eat certain things, not super much, but sometimes. So there's nut milk. Heavy cream, I guess maybe it's due to its fat content. It seems to last longer than milk. Then, on a keto diet, we're very familiar with butter. I mean, butter is kind of a freezable item as well, and dairy. Greek yogurt is, it is a little bit higher in lactose because it's not like aged cheese that's completely consumed. But Greek yogurt is also a little bit higher in carbs. So you have to judge for yourself like how much carb you can take and be careful of how much Greek yogurt you're consuming. But I do find that because it has probiotics and things like that, I really love Greek yogurt. I think it works well for my gut bacteria as well. Cheese is not the greatest. If you are a person that likes buying the block mozzarella and block cheddar cheese, these block cheese to shred it yourself, I understand. But I have to say, these pre-shredded ones, in times like these crisis time, if you eat a lot of them, you might want to consider buying these pre-shredded ones for now, just because of those anti-caking agents and preservatives. They do actually last longer as opposed to the fresh block that you buy and shred yourself.
So the sixth category I want to talk about is takeout food. But there are some takeout options for keto, for people on ketogenic diet. For example, if you're really tired of cooking, one option is to go to fast food chains. And the good thing about the fast food chain is that you can usually get burger patties or ask for a grilled chicken sandwich without the buns, or like Wendy's also have a good salad selection, and so you can buy the salad and just without the dressing and put on some olive oil at home. Another fast food option is a fried chicken. Of course, the fried chicken has lots of batter on the skin, so unfortunately we might have to ditch the skin. Even though on keto, I think eating chicken skin is quite a good thing, but because of all the flour it's threaded in, so make sure if you get fried chicken, get the dark meat. They naturally contain more fat. And the best way to stay keto really is to eat at home. So I do highly encourage you to, make it fun. Think of it as learning new recipes. It's time when we have a little bit more time at hand. So, trying out new recipe is a good way to kind of as a hobby to do while you're in lockdown. What are you stocking up during this COVID-19 pandemic lockdown? Please share in the comment down below. If you like content like this, or if you find this content helpful, please subscribe and share with others. And I hope you stay safe. And yeah, thank you for watching. See you next time. Bye bye.